Hi, my name is Inya Holdaway, and I was reading an article by Allison Hahn. It was published in 2024, and the topic is social listening. I thought this was really interesting because I am constantly doing social listening in my line of work. I'm a digital marketer for an online digital banking company. So I have to constantly see what people are doing, what people are saying, and I read reviews on App Store. I just do a lot of things with social listening. So this was a really cool article. It talks about how a lot of brands and companies will look at what people are saying on the internet because a lot of times they see why customers aren't buying certain things, and then the reason behind it, or why people aren't liking a company and the reason behind it. So there's always room for improvement in when companies do this type of stuff. What I found really interesting was that this is kind of a newer thing. Obviously, social media is constantly on the rise, but this was one of the newer concepts that a lot of companies and brands are listening to, and you can kind of tell which brands are and aren't doing social listening. And as I was reading, they were talking about how it's kind of part of a social media strategy. When you have a digital or social media marketer, you do a lot of engagement, video content, but you also do lots of outreach and you also do lots of audits of what people are saying. So this article is relevant to me, for example, because I am a digital marketer. So I go onto Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm constantly seeing what people are saying about the company. So either there's room for improvement, or we can remove things, or we can address certain things. And I think a lot of companies and brands will change accordingly to their customers because that is who they're serving their product to. So this was really neat. One of the bigger issues is that there are lots of like user generated content or like AI bots that are portraying to be human beings, which is making it hard for certain companies to understand whether or not they should take the comments seriously, or if they should, if they need to do audits of the users that are commenting, because it can be really hard. And I especially see this on Reddit and Twitter as I go about my work, is I see a lot of just like fake bots is what they're called. And then for politicians, for example, they use this to kind of see how people are addressing certain concerns in regards to school zones, funding, etc. Like a lot of things can be learned when you do social listening. It's sort of an audit of your brand or company, but for free. And so with content analysis, there's always a meaning behind what we see and read. I don't ever believe that a company or brand or user posts something just because. There's usually a reason behind it. Like 99% of the time. Don't quote me on that, but that's pretty much. I mean, we don't really post stuff unless there's a reason behind it. I mean, so I think that it's important to do social listening because you are getting real life comments on how people are feeling about your brand, and then we are serving the people as a company, so you want to kind of shift your products and improve them as best as you can so that they're suitable for the people that you're serving. Um, and I see this especially with like sports brands. I have noticed with Under Armour, they have a couple reviews on the internet that aren't sitting too well right now, in regards to how their customer service is. And I think with a company like that, especially with how big they are and how many people they sponsor, it is so important to keep track of what people are saying on the internet constantly, because then you can adjust those big things, or you can fix those and hire people from within, or to help strengthen that weakness. And I think social listening is a great thing, and I think it's great that it's talked about. And I really like this article, and it's especially good for us in the communication social media world, to focus on social listening and see what our consumers need. But yeah, thank you. Hopefully this was helpful. I appreciate you for listening. So thank you.